Imagine this. You stand on the deck of a ship surrounded by endless ocean. The waters churn violently, the skies darken, and a deep, bone-rattling roar echoes from beneath. The sea rises, an enormous shadow looms, and then you see it, a creature so vast, so terrifying, that your heart freezes in terror. This is Leviathan, the most fearsome being ever described in the Bible. But what is it? And could it still be lurking in the depths today? Let's travel back to the ancient world, where the mystery of Leviathan begins. But before we fully dive in, if this is your first time here, please subscribe, like, and share this video to help spread the hidden truths of Scripture to others. Now let's get started. Our story opens in one of the oldest books of the Bible, Job. Job, a man of great faith, finds himself caught in the whirlwind of unimaginable suffering. It's in this moment of despair that God speaks to Job from a storm, challenging him with questions about the natural world and its wonders. Among these challenges is the vivid description of Leviathan in Job chapter 41. Can you pull in Leviathan with a fishhook? Or tie down its tongue with a rope? The words are laced with irony. God isn't just asking if Job can tame this beast. He's making it clear that no mortal could ever hope to control such a creature. Picture it. Leviathan is described as having armor-like scales, impenetrable to any weapon. Its breath ignites flames, and its eyes glow like the morning sun. As if that weren't enough, its mere presence strikes terror into even the bravest warriors. But what's truly haunting is how God emphasizes Leviathan's invincibility. He says, if you lay a hand on it, you will remember the struggle and never do it again. Think about that for a moment. This isn't just a big fish or some oversized crocodile. This is a creature that defies human comprehension, a force of chaos unleashed upon the seas. To understand why Leviathan is so terrifying, we must look beyond its physical description. In the ancient world, the sea was seen as a place of mystery and danger. It represented chaos, a realm where no human could thrive. Leviathan, as a creature of the sea, became a symbol of this chaos, a living embodiment of the untamed, the unpredictable, and the uncontrollable. But here's the twist. Leviathan isn't portrayed as an enemy of God. In fact, it's God who created this monstrous beast. Why would an all-powerful, benevolent creator bring such a terrifying entity into existence? The answer lies in the balance of power. Leviathan is a reminder of God's sovereignty over creation. It's a creature so fierce that no human could tame it. But for God, it's just another part of his masterpiece. Over the centuries, Leviathan has captured the imagination of theologians, scholars, and storytellers. Some believe it was a real creature, perhaps a now extinct sea monster, or even a massive crocodile. Others argue it's purely symbolic, representing the forces of evil and chaos. But here's where things get even more fascinating. In some Jewish traditions, Leviathan isn't just a creature of chaos. It's also a creature of destiny. There's a legend that at the end of time, God will slay Leviathan and use its flesh to prepare a feast for the righteous. Imagine that, a beast so powerful that only God himself can defeat it, and its defeat becomes a symbol of ultimate victory over chaos. Could it be that Leviathan is more than just a relic of ancient mythology? Could it be a message encoded in Scripture about the battle between order and chaos, good and evil? But let's return to Job's vision. Imagine hearing these words for the first time, living in a world where the ocean was a place of untold mystery and danger. You'd never seen a submarine or a diving suit. You'd never watched a nature documentary showing the deep sea. To you, the ocean was a vast, unknowable abyss, filled with creatures beyond imagination. Then, you hear about Leviathan, a beast that embodies all your fears of the unknown. Its scales are impenetrable, its movements create chaos, and its presence is a reminder of humanity's insignificance. Even today, with all our modern technology, the idea of Leviathan sends shivers down our spines. After all, we've explored more of the surface of the moon than we have the ocean's depths. What might still be lurking down there, hidden from human eyes? But here's the thing about Leviathan. It's not just a creature of terror. It's also a creature of purpose. By describing Leviathan in such vivid detail, the Bible isn't just trying to scare us. It's teaching us a lesson. Leviathan is a reminder of the limits of human power. It's a symbol of the chaos that only God can control, the darkness that only He can illuminate. In a way, Leviathan is both a warning and a challenge. It asks us to confront our fears, to recognize the vastness of the world and our place within it. And it reminds us that even the most fearsome forces of nature are ultimately under God's command. But here's the question that keeps me up at night. Could Leviathan still exist? There are countless tales of sea monsters throughout history, from the kraken of Norse mythology to the giant squid sightings of the 19th century. Could these stories be echoes of an ancient reality, a time when Leviathan ruled the seas? And what if it's not just a memory? What if, in the uncharted depths of the ocean, something like Leviathan still lurks? Stay with me, because the story of Leviathan is only beginning. We're about to dive deeper into the scriptures to uncover the true meaning of Leviathan. Is it just a myth, or is it a symbol of something far more terrifying, something that could reshape how we see the world and our place in it? What role does this monstrous being play in the grand narrative of Scripture? And could its existence hold a message for us today? Let's dive deeper into the mystery of Leviathan, if you dare. Our next encounter with Leviathan comes in the book of Psalms, specifically Psalm 74 verses 13 to 14. Here, Leviathan is described not as a singular beast, but as a multi-headed serpent. The passage reads, "It was you who split open the sea by your power. You broke the heads of the monster in the waters. It was you who crushed the heads of Leviathan and gave it as food to the creatures of the desert." Pause for a moment. The heads of Leviathan? Not one, but many? This detail elevates Leviathan from a physical creature to something far more otherworldly. In ancient cultures, multi-headed beasts often symbolized chaos, rebellion, and resistance against divine order. Leviathan, in this context, isn't just a sea monster. It represents forces that oppose God's authority. Yet, in this psalm, God is portrayed as victorious, crushing Leviathan and restoring order to the chaos. But why does this imagery matter? It's because Leviathan's defeat is more than a tale of triumph. It's a declaration of divine power. It's a reminder that no matter how insurmountable the forces of chaos appear, they are ultimately no match for the Creator. Our next stop is the book of Isaiah, chapter 27, verse 1, a passage that gives Leviathan an apocalyptic twist. "In that day, the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great, and powerful sword. Leviathan the gliding serpent, Leviathan the coiling serpent. He will slay the monster of the sea. Notice the shift here. Leviathan is no longer just a beast of chaos. It has become a prophetic symbol of judgment. This passage hints at a future confrontation, where Leviathan represents more than a creature. It becomes a stand-in for the forces of evil that God will ultimately destroy. But why the specific imagery of a serpent? In biblical literature, serpents are often associated with deception, rebellion, and Satan himself. From the serpent in the Garden of Eden to the dragon in the book of Revelation, this imagery carries a heavy weight. Could Leviathan be a precursor to these end-time symbols? Is it a shadow of the ultimate enemy? A warning of the spiritual battles to come? Theologians and scholars have long debated the meaning of Leviathan. Some argue it was a literal creature, perhaps a crocodile, a whale, or even a now extinct sea monster. But others see it as something far more symbolic. In some Jewish traditions, Leviathan is one of two primordial beasts created by God, the other being Behemoth. These creatures represent opposing forces, land and sea, chaos and order. According to legend, at the end of time, God will slay Leviathan and Behemoth, using their flesh to prepare a feast for the righteous. This imagery is both fascinating and unsettling. Leviathan, a creature so terrifying it defies human understanding, becomes a source of sustenance in the ultimate act of divine victory. But here's where it gets even more chilling. Some scholars suggest that Leviathan isn't just a symbol of chaos. It's a representation of pride. Its invincible armor, fiery breath, and fearsome nature make it the perfect metaphor for arrogance and rebellion against God. And here's where we dive into the darkest depths of Leviathan's story. Some believe this beast is a foreshadowing of Satan himself. Let's connect the dots. In Revelation 12, verse 9, Satan is described as that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan, who leads the whole world astray. This description is eerily similar to the Leviathan of Isaiah, a coiling, gliding serpent that opposes God. If this connection holds, then Leviathan isn't just a creature of chaos. It's a manifestation of ultimate rebellion. It's a warning of the spiritual forces at work, forces that seek to undo God's creation and lead humanity astray. But why does Leviathan continue to captivate us? Why does this ancient being, described thousands of years ago, still send shivers down our spines? The answer lies in what it represents. Leviathan taps into our primal fears. Fear of the unknown, fear of chaos, fear of forces beyond our control. It reminds us of the vastness of creation and our own insignificance within it. Even today, with all our technology and exploration, the ocean remains a place of mystery. We've barely scratched the surface of what lies beneath. Could there be a creature like Leviathan still lurking in the uncharted depths? And what about its symbolic power? In an age where chaos seems to dominate, Leviathan becomes a powerful metaphor. It challenges us to confront the forces of destruction, pride, and rebellion in our own lives. But here's the ultimate truth about Leviathan. It's not just a creature of fear, it's a creature of purpose. Leviathan reminds us of God's sovereignty over all things, even the forces of chaos. It challenges us to trust in His power, even when we face overwhelming odds. And it points us to the ultimate victory, where even the greatest symbols of evil and destruction are defeated by his hand. In the words of Job, "Who then is able to stand against me? Who has a claim against me that I must pay? Everything under heaven belongs to me." Leviathan is a testament to this truth, that no matter how fearsome the darkness, the light of God's power will always prevail. But what about the future? Could Leviathan resurface as part of a greater end times prophecy? Is it connected to the apocalyptic beasts of Revelation? And what does its ultimate defeat mean for the world? In the book of Revelation, the last and most mysterious book of the Bible, we find vivid imagery of beasts and apocalyptic events. While Leviathan isn't mentioned by name, its essence seems to permeate the text. Take Revelation 13, for example, where a beast rises out of the sea. This creature has 10 horns and 7 heads, with blasphemous names written on each. It is given power to wage war against God's people, and the entire world marvels at its might. Doesn't this sound eerily familiar? The multi-headed Leviathan of Psalm 74 comes to mind, a chaotic, destructive force that only God himself can defeat. Some theologians believe this sea beast symbolizes political or spiritual powers that oppose God during the end times. But others argue that it is a direct reflection of Leviathan, a serpent-like creature embodying chaos and rebellion, once again rising from the depths to challenge divine authority. But there's more. In Revelation 12, verse 9, another monstrous figure emerges, the great dragon, identified as that ancient serpent called the devil or Satan. This serpent is cast out of heaven, a direct act of divine judgment. Could this ancient serpent and Leviathan be one and the same? Or are they two faces of the same cosmic rebellion? To truly understand Leviathan's role in the end of days, we return to Isaiah 27, verse 1. In that day, the Lord will punish with his sword, his fierce, great, and powerful sword. Leviathan the gliding serpent, Leviathan the coiling serpent. He will slay the monster of the sea. This passage points to a climactic moment when God himself destroys Leviathan, wielding his sword to bring ultimate justice. Here, Leviathan's destruction is more than just a triumph over a beast. It's a cosmic victory, a declaration that no force of chaos, no power of darkness can stand against the Creator. But there's a deeper layer to this story. In Jewish tradition, Leviathan's death doesn't just mark the end of chaos. It ushers in a time of restoration. The legend goes that God will prepare a feast for the righteous, using the flesh of Leviathan as a symbol of his victory. Imagine that, a creature so fearsome, now transformed into a source of celebration and renewal. Leviathan's defeat isn't just a dramatic end to a terrifying creature. It carries profound spiritual meaning. First, it represents the ultimate triumph of order over chaos. From the beginning of creation, God has been subduing chaos, bringing light into darkness and separating land from sea. Leviathan, as a symbol of untamed chaos, serves as a reminder of this ongoing battle. Its defeat signifies the completion of God's work, a restored creation where chaos no longer threatens peace. Second, Leviathan's destruction is a warning against pride and rebellion. As we saw in Job, Leviathan's impenetrable scales, fiery breath, and immense power make it a perfect metaphor for human arrogance. By slaying Leviathan, God demonstrates that no amount of pride or rebellion can stand before him. Finally, Leviathan's death points to the ultimate judgment. In the apocalyptic vision of Revelation, all forces of evil, represented by beasts, dragons, and serpents, are cast into the lake of fire. Leviathan's story foreshadows this judgment, reminding us that evil, no matter how powerful, will not have the final word. But here's the question that lingers. Could Leviathan still exist? The Bible describes Leviathan as a real, physical creature, yet one imbued with profound symbolism. While some scholars believe it represents a now extinct sea monster, others suggest it's a timeless metaphor for chaos and evil. But let's not forget how little we truly know about the deep sea. Over 80% of the ocean remains unexplored, a vast, shadowy realm that could easily hide creatures beyond our imagination. Could something akin to Leviathan still lurk in those depths, unseen by human eyes? And even if Leviathan is purely symbolic, its meaning still resonates. Chaos, pride, and rebellion are forces we encounter every day, in our world, in others, and even within ourselves. Leviathan's story challenges us to confront these forces, to recognize their power, but also to trust in the one who has ultimate authority over them. But here's the good news. Leviathan's story is ultimately one of hope. The Bible paints a clear picture of God's sovereignty. No matter how fearsome Leviathan may seem, it is still a creature of God's making, a being that exists under his control. Its defeat is inevitable, a reminder that no force of chaos or evil can withstand his power. In Revelation 21, we're given a glimpse of what lies beyond the chaos. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. No longer any sea. No longer any chaos. No longer any Leviathan. This is the ultimate promise, a world restored, where darkness and fear have no place. It's a reminder that no matter how overwhelming the chaos in our lives may feel, we serve a God who has already won the battle. So, what does Leviathan mean for us? It's easy to see Leviathan as a relic of ancient mythology, a distant symbol of chaos and rebellion. But its story is deeply relevant to our lives today. Leviathan teaches us to face our fears. Whether it's the unknown, the uncontrollable, or the overwhelming, Leviathan reminds us that we are not alone in the struggle. It challenges us to confront pride and rebellion, both in the world and within ourselves. It's a call to humility, a reminder that true strength lies not in defiance, but in surrender to God's will. And above all, it offers us hope. No matter how dark the storm, no matter how terrifying the chaos, we serve a God who holds the sword of ultimate victory. So, is Leviathan the most fearsome creature in the Bible? Perhaps, but it's also one of the most profound. It's a reminder of chaos, pride, and rebellion, but also of God's power, justice, and ultimate victory. What do you think? Is Leviathan just an ancient myth, or does its story still hold meaning today? Could it resurface in our modern world, either as a literal creature or as a force of chaos we must confront? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, no matter how dark the depths may seem, the light of truth always shines brighter. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of mystery and faith. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, seek the truth, embrace the mystery, and never stop exploring.